Inferno unleashed, a well ignited. The earth trembled, shaking with a force that seemed to come from the very core of the planet. A deafening roar ripped through the air, a sound so powerful it seemed to tear the sky apart. It was 1963, deep in the heart of Soviet Uzbekistan, at the Urtabulak gas field. This remote location, known for its vast reserves, was about to become infamous for a disaster of epic proportions. Drillers had unknowingly tapped into a massive reservoir, not of natural gas, but of highly flammable hydrogen sulfide. This gas, colorless and deadly, was a ticking time bomb beneath the surface. The moment the drill pierced the reservoir, a geyser of gas erupted, spewing forth with incredible force. The pressure was unimaginable, sending a column of gas skyward. It ignited instantly, transforming the drilling rig into a raging inferno. The flames consumed everything in their path, leaving no chance for escape. The inferno was a terrifying spectacle. It was as if the gates of hell had opened, unleashing a fury that was both mesmerizing and horrifying. Flames reached hundreds of feet into the air, fueled by the seemingly endless torrent of gas. The fire roared with a life of its own, a beast that could not be tamed. Heat radiated outwards for miles, scorching the earth and turning sand into glass. The intensity of the heat was such that it warped the very landscape, creating a scene of utter devastation. The air itself shimmered with heat, making it difficult to breathe and even more challenging to approach the blaze. The searing temperatures created an almost uninhabitable environment. The roar of the fire was a constant reminder of the raw power unleashed from deep within the earth. It was a sound that echoed for miles, a relentless reminder of the disaster. This was not just a fire, it was a monster. A beast born from the depths of the earth, feeding on the very lifeblood of the planet, and leaving nothing but destruction in its wake. Emergency response teams were quickly mobilized, but the scale of the disaster was overwhelming. Firefighters battled the blaze with everything they had, but the fire seemed almost invincible. Exhausted and battered, the firefighters could only watch as the inferno continued to rage. The charred remains of the gas field stood as a testament to the power of nature unleashed. The Urtabulak gas field, once a symbol of industrial progress, was now a landscape of desolation. The scorched earth and twisted metal were all that remained of what was once a thriving operation. Today, a memorial stands at the site, a somber reminder of the disaster that unfolded. It serves as a tribute to those who lost their lives and a stark warning of the dangers that lie beneath the surface. Flowers are left in remembrance, and the story of the Urtabulak disaster is passed down through generations. It is a tale of caution, a reminder of the power and unpredictability of nature. As the sun sets over the memorial, the quiet landscape stands in stark contrast to the chaos that once reigned. It is a place of reflection, a testament to the resilience of the human spirit in the face of unimaginable disaster. A raging giant, battling an unquenchable beast. The fire was unlike anything seen before, a monstrous entity that seemed to have a life of its own, consuming everything in its path with an insatiable hunger. The scale of the disaster was unprecedented. Entire landscapes were engulfed in flames, and the sheer magnitude of the fire was overwhelming. It spread rapidly, leaving a trail of destruction in its wake. The fire consumed an estimated 2 million cubic meters of gas every single day. The explosions at gas facilities only added to the chaos, creating a dangerous and volatile situation. The intense heat hampered firefighting efforts, pushing firefighters and their equipment to their absolute limits. The brave men and women on the front lines faced unimaginable conditions, battling not just the flames but also exhaustion and dehydration. Water seemed to evaporate before it even reached the flames. The extreme temperatures rendered traditional firefighting methods almost useless, as the fire's intensity turned water to steam in an instant. Foam cannons, brought in with great effort, had minimal impact on the inferno's fury. Despite the advanced technology, the fire continued to rage, seemingly unstoppable. As weeks turned into months, the fire raged on, defying all attempts at containment. The relentless blaze showed no signs of abating, and the firefighters' tireless efforts seemed in vain. The economic implications were staggering. The cost of the disaster was mounting, with billions of dollars in damages and losses. The fire's impact on the economy was profound, affecting industries and livelihoods. The Soviet Union, a nation built on its vast natural resources, was hemorrhaging valuable gas, a key component of its industrial growth. The loss of such a critical resource was a severe blow to the nation's economy and its future prospects. Beyond the economic losses, the environmental impact was becoming increasingly dire. The fire released massive amounts of smoke and toxic fumes into the atmosphere, contributing to air pollution and climate change. Toxic fumes polluted the air for miles around, posing a serious health risk to local populations. Residents were forced to wear masks to protect themselves from the hazardous air quality, and many suffered from respiratory issues. The land itself was scarred, transformed into a desolate wasteland. Once fertile and vibrant, the terrain was now charred and barren, a stark reminder of the fire's devastating power. The situation seemed hopeless, a fiery testament to the power of nature and the limits of human intervention. Despite the best efforts of countless firefighters and the use of advanced technology, the fire continued to burn, a relentless force of destruction. Desperate measures, the Soviets' nuclear gambit. With traditional methods failing, Soviet engineers faced a stark choice: allow the Inferno to burn for decades, potentially until the gas reservoir was depleted, or attempt something radical, something unheard of, using a nuclear explosion to extinguish the fire. It was a desperate gamble, fraught with risks and uncertainties. Yet, the potential rewards were immense. A successful detonation could save the gas field, prevent further environmental damage, and demonstrate Soviet technological prowess on a global stage. The decision to employ a nuclear solution was not taken lightly. The world was still grappling with the horrors of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. The specter of nuclear fallout and long-term contamination loomed large. However, the Soviets were confident in their calculations. They believed that a carefully placed and contained underground detonation could collapse the well, cutting off the gas supply and extinguishing the fire. Nuclear preparations, a race against time. The clock was ticking, and every second counted as the team raced against time to prevent a potential catastrophe. The project was shrouded in secrecy, a testament to its sensitive nature. Behind closed doors, the brightest minds worked tirelessly, knowing that the stakes were incredibly high. A team of the Soviet Union's brightest minds, physicists, engineers, and geologists were assembled. These experts, each a master in their field, collaborated to solve one of the most challenging problems of their time. They faced the daunting task of calculating the precise yield and depth required for the explosion. Every calculation had to be perfect, as even the smallest error could lead to disastrous consequences. Too small, and it would be ineffective. The team ran countless simulations, each one bringing them closer to the perfect solution, but also highlighting the immense risks involved. Too large, and it could result in an uncontrolled release of radiation. The potential for a catastrophic failure loomed over every decision, adding to the pressure the team felt. The chosen site for the detonation was a remote location, carefully selected to minimize the risk of radioactive fallout reaching populated areas. This desolate landscape was the perfect backdrop for such a high-stakes operation. A shaft over 1,500 meters deep was drilled at an angle towards the burning well. This was no ordinary drilling operation. It required precision and expertise to ensure the shaft was perfectly aligned. This shaft would house the nuclear device, a custom-designed device with a yield equivalent to 30 kilotons of TNT. The device itself was a marvel of engineering, designed specifically for this mission. Every aspect of the operation, from the transportation of the device to its placement within the shaft, was a logistical and technical marvel, carried out with the utmost precision and care. The team knew that any mistake could be catastrophic. The world watched and waited, holding its breath. News of the operation had spread, and people everywhere were anxious to see if the team would succeed. The fate of Urtabulak and perhaps more hung in the balance. The local residents, whose lives were directly impacted, watched with a mix of hope and fear, knowing that the outcome of this operation could change everything.